Hey, wow.
Good evening, Keepers of the Cash. Gary B, the Casual Comic Guy here, and I am joined with my Tuesday host, as always, Rob Fat Stacks of Comics, who just had a fantastic 1,000 subscriber giveaway show. Rob, congratulations once again. Nice to have you on the show tonight, buddy.
Thank you. Every one of you. Thank you all. It was all because of you.
Right. And the guest of honor for this evening, none other than Namman the Drawman. How you doing, Namman?
Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year.
Now, in a moment, we're going to get to the chat and say hello to everybody. But first, Namman, for those watching on the rewind, I always want the guests to introduce themselves and what their channel's about. So if you could just give us a quick 2-minute version of who you are and what you do on your channel, I would appreciate it.
I'm called Namman. My channel is called A Comic Bookworm. Not the Comic Bookworm, just A Comic Bookworm. Just one of you guys collecting comic books. I collect some new stuff, but mostly I decided that I'm going to keep it to Bronze Age, from 74 to 79, right there. So just trying to recapture my childhood, those comic books I couldn't get when I was a kid. Now I got some, working money. So
All of us might know something about that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Rob would never spend a penny out of place on a book.
No, never.
The most reserved spender I know over there. Thank you, David. Let's go through the chat. First, as always, we have Las Cruces. Good evening, sir.
Las
How are you?
Cruces.
We have the one, the only Ruby G. Good
White
evening.
Tiger.
White Tiger, cool, calm, collected. TJ Flash by Night. Good evening, sir. Nice to see you. Namman was sneaking in there to say hi to everybody. We have Comic Journey. How you doing, CJ? He is coming up on the 10/11 in March.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
We have Psychedelic Comics. Good evening, sir. Maybe we can chorus him at some point. We have the one, the only Sith Lordly. Good evening, sir. Yes, Saturday night was a great time. Thank you for having me on your show. And I'm going to try to get him on here at some point too, hopefully. Tony's Diecast Customs, a great supporter in the community. Very nice to see you, Tony. Happy New Year. We have the grandfather of YouTube, Letterog. Good evening, sir. How are you, buddy? And moving down, we have the Jackson Roy Kirk. So this chat
Wow. Not just Jackson Roy Kirk. We got the
Jackson Roy Kirk.
No.
We have
Proper
Nicholas here
job.
from One Shot Comics. Good evening, sir. Switch Comics. Good evening, Marco. Happy birthday, Lady Fantastic. All right, Caroline, one of our greats in the community. Happy birthday. Very nice. Thank you for joining us on your birthday.
We'd sing, but we don't.
Right. And Gore Vidal, good evening, sir. Nice to have you, buddy.
You don't want me to.
Hey, K-Pop Junkie, good evening. Nice
Hey,
to see
K-Pop.
K-Pop in here. All right, so the chat is going. Oh, we're all dependent on, well, sorry, I don't force my guests to do anything.
Thank
That'll
you.
have to be at your
You're my
discretion.
man.
We got Gore wishing Lady Fantastic Caroline a happy birthday. Very nice. All right, so Namman, let's just get right started, man. So
Rip the Band-Aid off. Let's do it.
All right.
How was it? Was it stressful to pick out your 10 comics?
Yes, it was. Yes,
One
it
and
was.
one? Yeah.
I hope you guys remember our what do you call it? The hot seat. I hope,
Yes.
because it's going to continue on from there.
All right. Well,
If you don't remember, how come you don't remember?
Because I have a brain like a steel colander.
Right.
Full of holes.
Let's see your number one, sir.
So I told you when I came to the United States, I went to, you told them and bought comic book for the very first time. That was never a thing in Korea. I mean, having your own comic book is just out of the question when I was a kid at the time. you could borrow and read, but you couldn't own a comic book. But idea of owning a comic book was, I mean, it was just crazy, right?
Right. I
So
remember you telling us that you would rent the time to sit there and read in the comic book stuff.
yeah, and I knew about Superman, but I never thought I would get. So I did some little calculation and figured out this is my very first comic book that I bought at Utotem.
Oh,
But
nice.
but I just don't. At the time, I didn't read this book. I mean, I just looked at the pictures. I didn't speak the language.
That's
So,
basically what I do now. I mean,
but so I wish the comic book was this one instead. My very first comic book was this one instead.
Oh,
So
wow.
oh, I like
yeah,
that rocket.
Yeah,
so this is
that's a spectacular cover, Naman.
yeah, this is issue 300. They retell the origin story. It went back in 1976, around there, when Russia and United States were having a little, Cold War kind of things. So this was this.
Oh,
Oh,
there
he
you are. Yeah.
froze.
So this one I read. I
Oh,
loved it. I got little origin story from it's a little bit different than the origin story. But I realized Superman had a whole bunch of origin story throughout the years, right?
Right.
From the first one but anyway, I just love this one. It's imaginary. It's not a kind of, what do you call it? It's not a canon, but it had an origin story in there that was
Just a one off.
yeah, and then imagine the year 2001 where he became a Superman. So it looked into the future from 1975. So I thought that was really fun. They have a floating gravity chairs, but the remote control is this big.
yeah. That's what we have today, right?
Yeah, but and it was the Superman was raised by a military general instead of a farmer on this one. But I really love this one. You ought to try it because my kid knew I love it. This is my very first slab.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Very nice.
Yeah, so my very first slab got it for Father's Day. So,
Right.
Awesome.
Great.
I wish
Great
this
number
was my
one.
first comic book, but that's okay. By the way, this is my own. I made my own slab. By the way, guys.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think I remember watching the video of you making it.
yeah, yeah. So this is one of the first one. I did replace the, what do you call it, the bag to not the more expensive one. I don't know what the.
Mylar.
So what's my
Right.
second one? Second one. Okay, this is a just recent get. Roger, I have to give you a shout out on this one. Roger got me into this book.
I think Roger's got people into a lot of books.
Uh,
Ooh, Ghostly Tales. Very nice.
yeah, he's favorite. Roger's one of Roger's favorite artists is this Korean guy. I never knew. If I knew about this gentleman back then, man, I
And
would
that's
have
the
done
issue
everything
that's half
possible
in
to.
Korean, right?
Huh?
And that's the issue that's half in Korean, right?
Yeah, this is written half in Korean. I mean, not half, but these
Well,
are all
partial Korean.
written in Korean and English. You see that red? You see that red text right there?
Yep.
That's a that's a. I mean, eh, seeing Korean, um, Korean artist and a Korean story. This is a Korean story in a back far as back in 70s or 69 around there. It was amazing. And only way I was gonna run into something like this is to have be part of this amazing community. And
Right.
so this
And if
had to
it's out there,
be.
and it's unique. You know, Roger knows about it.
Yeah, Roger's
Roger's an encyclopedia of comic
yeah,
knowledge.
he's a. And one of the things that I'm going to try to do is get Kim Sanho. He's a or Sanho Kim, the Korean artist. He's like 83 right now.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and I did a little study on him, and he actually introduced science fiction to Korean in Korea because we didn't have a science fiction. Science fiction is a very new thing back in 50s. He actually introduced science fiction to Korean comic book community or
Oh,
comic.
so he had a pretty important role.
Yeah, he's a. So I'm trying to get him to come to my meet the artist. I'm trying. I'm going to send them letters and stuff. He's 84. Before what I mean, guys.
Before you move on, Naman, Brother Joe would like to see one more peek inside that book. If you could show it to him one more time.
Sure. What do you like?
Brother Joe says, "Can you reopen it, Naman?" That's all. He just wants another peek inside.
Another pick inside.
That is some fantastic art.
I mean, the action is just crazy. Even back in these days.
Right.
And they rely on Kim Sano to do a lot of because Charlton, when they were at the time, there were a lot of people were into kung fu and Bruce Lee, so they wanted to do some Asian comic books, but not many people were familiar with the Asian. At the time when, as far as artists is concerned, they weren't familiar with how to draw the martial art and things like that. Matter of fact, Roger sent me some the what was it, Yang?
Oh, the yin and the yang.
I think it was called something Yang. Roger, what was that book? Anyway, they rely on Kim Sano to draw like all the Asian arts from China and Korea, Japan. So he 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 had he had a unique contribution to the comic industry, even to the United States.
Nice. All right. That was a great book and great history. Number 3, bud.
House of Yang is what's it called? Yeah, House of Yang.
House of Yang. There is
Yeah,
Roger.
there you go, Roger Charlton. All right. So
And
what was
Roger
that,
loves his Charlton books.
Well, what's not to love?
Oh, Charlton's great.
So yeah, so Roger got me into collecting Charlton's book now. I don't even collect horror books, but because of this horror book, I say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead. And he sent me some horror books and some House of Yang books and Charlton books. So, well, I'm into it now.
It only takes one, right?
Next one is
Who doesn't love Firestar?
next one is next book I'm going to feature is Commandy.
Oh, another classic.
I haven't finished my labeling, and this is a different stage of a what do you call it? I don't know if you guys want to notice or not, but a different stage of a slabbing. I'm figuring out a different way to slab it so they don't put too much pressure on this the staple areas.
Right.
So
So good Planet of the Apes homage on the cover, huh?
yeah, it's a Planet of the Apes homage. So the story goes like this, right? I love Planet of the Apes, and when I was collecting at the time when I was a kid, I didn't think much of Jack Kirby art. I didn't really appreciate it. But now that I'm adult and I'm figuring out the history behind Jack Kirby, I'm going, wow, why didn't I see this before? Why. So this is a homage to Planet of the Apes, and you think Jack Kirby copied Planet of the Apes. I have a Planet of the Apes comic books, by the way. I mean magazines. I love Planet of the Apes too, by the way, right? So
Right. It's did you ever read the original Pierre Boulet novel?
Well, see, Pierre Boulet, he wrote 1963. It was, and Planet of the Apes was barely based on that, right? Did you know
It's a
that?
good read.
I haven't read it, but I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it definitely. Uh, did you know that Jack Kirby came out with the uh, people call it prototypal Commandy back in 1957. It's called
Wow.
Alarming. It's in Alarming Tales. It's called The Last Enemy. The Last Enemy. Yeah, that's. And he actually did a future where this guy time traveler goes to the future, and the future is all controlled by Animal Kingdom. I mean, so he
Right.
actually did it before Planet of the Apes. He actually, so it wasn't uh, Jack Kirby copying the Pierre Boulez, but he had his own little story going on already before Pierre Boulez. So
Oh,
that's just that's just too cool, right? I just
that is cool.
yeah. All
Well,
right,
you need to read that novel. It's a good novel.
I will. I'm a huge Planet of the Apes fans. I like dystopian type stories, where you basically reset and you start over, right? And
Right.
you're building again, right? And that's the type of story I like. So yeah, Commandy, Planet of the Apes, a lot of these dystopian stories. I love those kind of stories. So
Oh, they're fun, especially if they're done right.
yeah.
All right,
So
number 4, buddy.
number 4. Okay.
Ah, for Sabretooth.
I don't know. I think my grading is off on this one. I think maybe 6. It's
It
okay.
can be whatever you want. It's your grading scale. Who's gonna know?
Right.
I even came out with my own logo. I'm going to change it to comic book. That's my other channel name. But and then I put a wrinkly that cheap comic book bag. I'm going to put the more expensive one in there. Anyway, this is first appearance of Sabretooth. Now, when I was growing up, even in comic book, I always looked for Asian representation. I didn't know it was right under me like that, like the Rogers book, the Ghostly Tales. I didn't know that was around, but I was looking for you know Asian representation, and you had a kung fu, the Shang-Chi, right?
Right.
I was so pissed. I was so pissed. You got this dude doing kung fu, right? Shang-Chi didn't really have a superpower. You got this guy with the cool iron fist, and he's not Asian. But I thought the Iron Fist was really cool, but the TV, yeah,
Yeah, that's a well sought after book. A lot of
This-
Sabretooth fans out there.
yeah. There are comic books that I got. They are accidentally sought after.
Accidentally sought after. That's called I'm just collecting everything.
Right.
Okay.
So
And
it's
my,
it's like dragnet catch fishing, right? You just drag the net behind the boat, you'll catch something.
Right. So yeah, you're gonna snag something.
I
Also,
think I collected a little bit different than everybody else. I'm not sure. Let me
switch.
see.
Marco's asking you if you like the Shang-Chi movie.
Yeah, Shang-Chi was all right. Hey, he got a lot of powers on that one. They are crazy. So, uh, I'm familiar with the Shang-Chi after 70 because I haven't seen any of those, but before 80s, he didn't have any powers. Not, or am I wrong, Roger? Or
No, he didn't have any powers. In Master of Kung Fu and in the old magazines, he didn't have powers.
yeah,
And in the
yeah.
old magazines, the Deadly Hands of Kung Fu was actually, I think, the first appearance of Chuck Norris in comics in one of those issues.
You know, when this was occurring, I go, why isn't Shang-Chi have power, right? But now I'm though I actually like it when he doesn't have power. You know,
Right.
Here's a
I think you
spoiler.
could.
Street level hero.
Yeah. So I didn't appreciate that at the time, but at the time I was a kid. I'm going, how come Asian dude don't have any power?
Here's a spoiler: Chuck Norris, not Asian.
Right? And also not powered.
Oh, you tell Chuck Norris that.
Right?
But he has a different kind of
I could
power.
go down to Chuck Norris jokes all day. I love them. So that was, I'm sorry. So that was,
I'm on 5, right?
yes.
I'm on 5. Okay, I'm on 5.
He had the powers to whoop ass.
Right?
Okay.
Very true, Seth.
I'm just gonna go by. I'm gonna show a pair book on this one.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
I haven't graded
Oh,
this
Spy
yet.
Man.
Yeah.
I'm not
great
familiar
book.
with
This
this
is
one.
my very first comic book that I had a job at the. I got part-time job when I was like 16 at the newspaper company. And as soon as I started making money, I skipped the U-turn, and I thought maybe I could order some comic books from one of those, back of the comic book order sheets,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I always like a strength.
Steranko.
So they told me this is a first
His
strength.
first art.
But it turns out only the first splash page is done by him.
Yeah,
But,
the hand on the
yeah,
cover there.
yeah,
Steranko drew that, but that's his first published art. And
yeah,
he
that's
wrote the
his
story.
first
And he
post.
wrote the story for this.
So I'm a huge fan of Mastrenko.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what I want.
Yeah,
So,
no, it's a great book to have.
I mean, I'm a huge fan of Stranko. So
Yeah.
yeah.
You
Nice.
you can get that whole Spy Man series. I think there's only 3 or 4 issues.
I
in
think
this
there's
series.
only 3 issues on this one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna collect the rest of these.
Yeah, I have all
It's an
3 of it.
affordable one, Rob.
Oh yeah. I mean, even that that number 1, because it's, if you can find it, it's generally rather affordable because people just don't know what it is, and it's a Harvey comic, so it's
Right.
not.
I
you know,
mean, this is a Bionic Man before there was a Bionic Man. $60 million man.
Right.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
Steranko, he wrote the first one, and he did and he also wrote the second issue. But by the third issue, he was off of it, and it was just Otto Binder writing it. But
so yeah, I'm a huge fan of Mastrenko. I just love it. I'm gonna try to collect all this too. Nick Fury's Shield too.
Yeah.
So
great book to have. Great piece of history.
I
I'm
see.
hoping to get mine to Steranko signing, have him sign it someday.
yeah, he's getting up there, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's still got a head of hair.
Yeah.
Wait,
Why
say
is it
Steranko
the first thing you
didn't
mentioned?
Steranko pass last year?
No.
Okay. So okay about the signature book now. Okay. I went to Baltimore Con and I met Jim Starlin. He's another one of my favorite artists at the time. And I had this. I never realized this was done by Jim Starlin. But as soon as I found that out, I said, I'm taking this. Jim Starlin's going to show up at Baltimore Con. So I got him signed right there. I just love it. I just love it.
Yeah, it's a great cover, and Jim Starlin worked on a lot more than people realize.
Yeah.
He also does fun interviews. If you ever catch him on any programs live, he will just talk and talk and talk.
Maybe I'll get him to come on my channel. He was a very friendly fellow. I even left a poster at his booth, and he goes, "Oh yeah, you left your poster," and so he saved the poster for me. So awesome, dude.
Yeah, that's a great cover.
My Baltimore con was my very first con, and getting signature like this is my very first thing I'm now I may be hooked on to this kind of stuff now.
You're a signature guy now?
So now you got to make yourself a yellow top
Oh yeah, I need to make this yellow, Tom. I need to take this off and make it yellow.
Namman signature verified, right?
Hey, I make my own COAs for when I get my book signed. And I throw in the ones I don't get slabbed, I throw them in the back just so if nothing else. So later on down the road, I know when and where I got it signed, etc.
I think this is my very first trade.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
look at that
Yeah.
spider buggy.
Is this number
Yeah.
7?
This is number 7.
Okay.
Are we going too fast?
No, not at all. It's
Okay.
up to you how fast you want to go.
This is number 7, my very first trade.
With the spider buggy on the cover.
I had a Rogan's Run number 1. I don't know if you guys remember Rogan's Run. I was specking on Rogan's Run when the movie came out, and I said, I'm going to buy 1, 2, 3. I'm going to buy 2 of them. That was very unusual for me to do that. I don't spec on books like that. Of course, Rogan's Run, as far as comic book wise, is a horrible spec book, but I spec'd on it, right?
Except for issue 6.
Huh?
Except for issue 6 of Logan's Run. That was
the first was solo
first
Thanos. Yeah. Luckily I had that copy that by accident. But so this my very first trade. Guy wanted to buy Rogan's Run. He goes, "You got 2 copy, man. Let it go, let it go." So he trying to get me to exchange with him. He brought me a whole bunch of stuff. Finally, he brought me this comic book. Now, the reason I accepted this, not because of this, I had to do a lot of, collecting like this made me go back and think what happened when you were collecting. I have forgotten about it for a long, long time. This comic book is not a Spider-Man comic book.
What?
Oh. So it's, oh wow, the wrong covers on it, huh?
Yeah, wrong covers on it.
Rawhide Kid.
Yeah, I checked. Roger knew about this, and he goes, "Hey." At first, I thought this was a fake, but then I jogged my memory back, and I remember trading this for Logan's Run, my Logan's Run for this comic book. And reason I thought it was really unique that it was a Spider-Man outside and Cowboy inside. And according to Roger, they sometimes misprint, or when they're changing the print out, they got the cover and then they got the inners. So what I did was I checked this issue that was inside the comic book. I checked, and they are same dates. They are published on the same month. So I could see when they're changing the press machine,
right?
That they will, they didn't change the cover, but they changed the inside,
And I've never seen that. That's cool.
Yeah. So Roger specifically looked for books like this, and he recently found one. So I thought I was going to be the only guy with this kind of book, but Roger didn't let that happen.
With Roger out there, you're never going to be the only guy with any kind of book.
So, Roger, you suck.
Quite impressive.
And then you got Marco saying that is so cool. Truly amazing piece to have in your collection. And it is. That is a really cool book.
Yeah. So I'm proud of I traded my Logan's Run. I still have a Logan's Run 1 through 7 or whatever, but
no. But as far as there are people who like to collect error variants and whatnot, and that's far better in my opinion, than a double, than a double cover or a cover where depending on how widespread that the error is, obviously, or some ink printing error that's happens somewhat frequently. Having a completely wrong book inside the cover, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, right. I thought it was pretty cool. So
I've never seen one, so I think it's pretty neat.
Well, Roger has one too, so.
But Roger has everything.
Yeah, Roger's got one of everything. Roger's the grandfather of everything. Yeah.
Okay, book 8. All right.
And Roger's saying much rarer than double covers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I got double cover too, by the way, but I'm not showing that one.
All right,
Where's
number 8, buddy.
Where's 8 at?
Some fun books.
I hope this is acceptable as a comic book.
Oh, heavy metal? Is that
Yeah.
wow? Nice grab.
I love this.
That cover is so amazing with Tarna.
Yeah. So I started collecting heavy metal after I stopped collecting comic books. So, comic book was. This is when 1981. That's when I went to college, and everybody's buying Playboys, Hustlers, Penthouse. I didn't want to be that little nerdy kid buying comic books. So you know what? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and buy. I'm here. My parents not gonna, see what I read. I'm gonna buy me some heavy metal magazines. So that's when I start collecting these. I lost one of these. I lost this, and recently acquired it back. I love this movie, and I love the soundtrack from the movie. I mean, let me show you the soundtrack from the movie. You guys seen the movie Heavy Metal?
Oh yeah, tons of times I own it.
This is the soundtrack from the movie. Look at all the people that made a song for that movie.
Oh yeah, plus the cast was amazing too. You had John Candy voice acting.
Yeah, John Candy played this guy right here. The little kid.
And, yeah, it was just amazing all the talent they pulled for that.
Yeah. Cheap Trick, Devo, Grand Funk, Sammy Hagar, Johnny, Nazareth, Stevie Nicks. I just love that. And so I had in heavy metal issues, I think this one and issue number 1 is probably the most expensive books,
Right.
I have a little about myself that I would never spend more than $30 on a comic book. But I had to break that bow on this one.
Oh, I don't blame you, man. That's a great cover.
Yeah, so I had to get.
And as far as classic magazine covers go, I put that one up there with Vampirella 1. It's just it's instantly recognizable. It's just beautiful.
And you do love those those tough ladies, right?
Right. Well, they're still making Tarna. The last Tarna miniseries that came out last year was really good.
Yeah, I got some of those. You collecting those, Gary?
Yep.
Yeah, I figured.
The stories have been good, so they've been still putting the quality into that character. You got K-pop saying that she loves Tarna.
K-pop?
And Metarog snuck in. Metarog the rebel.
Snuck in Gore.
Well, because Gore said he couldn't sneak into the film to see it because it's rated R, but Roger snuck in.
Oh.
So Roger snuck in and didn't pay. Roger was a naughty little boy.
Well, maybe he paid for a different movie and snuck in.
Right. I'm just throwing Roger under the bus for fun. All right, number 9.
Go back to that theater and you give them their 50 cents.
Right.
So I came back to collecting comic books back in right before pandemic, I guess.
Right.
Yeah. One of the reason why I came back to collecting comic book is I used to watch YouTube videos.
Right.
And I watch a YouTube video. I just like watching people drawing and stuff. Not comic book videos. People who just draw. I love that, and people who teach his drawing. Well, that's how I found Jim Lee. I didn't particularly knew Jim Lee was drawing for comic books. He was drawing, and then later on found out that hey, this guy draws for Marvel, DC, and now he's president of the DC comic book. But I didn't know that until he was drawing and he was teaching how to draw on his channel on Twitch. Was it Twitch channel? And then he unboxed his own book.
Oh yeah, classic
Artist
cover from
edition.
him.
Yeah. He unboxed this book, and he was going through this book, and I'm going, I gotta have that book. I gotta have that book. So I got me this book, right? And I was thumbing through this and uh, seeing all these, you know, comic book that he drew, right?
Right.
And oh wow, I gotta get those. I gotta get those.
I can't believe you
So,
don't have that bagged.
huh? Yeah, I don't know how to.
Especially with all that white on the cover.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
You're giving Rob
Anyway,
palpitations.
anyway, I won this from one of the.
There you go.
Oh, nice.
Uh, from Instagram. I won this, so I got Jim Lee to sign
Oh,
it.
yeah, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's going to be yellow label on this one.
Yeah. Gonna break out the yellow label, huh?
Break up the yellow label, and I carried this to Baltimore Con and got Jim Lee to sign this one too.
There you go.
Now, what's your favorite Jim Lee character that he's drawn? Is it the X-Men or is it something else he's done, like Batman or
I mean
Superman?
I'm a Superman fan, so but I these Magneto drawing is just crazy awesome, right? Look at that Magneto drawing, and
Oh yeah,
you
it's
know,
good. Everyone had those covers too.
you
Those
know
first 5 X-Men of the number one.
Scott Williams is his inker, right? And but I don't know who his color is, but I looked through this comic book right here. I looked through this. I'm sorry, I prefer just black and white. It has a collection of that comic book right in here, and I prefer that. I prefer to.
Oh, I love the black and white when you can just see the artist lines and the way they do stuff. It's awesome.
Yeah, and it's not reduced. The way it's just full size. It's this is I'm collecting these. These big old comic books.
Treasury editions,
Right.
artist
The
books,
Artist
yeah.
edition.
Or not treasury, but the artist, yeah, the artist books, yeah.
Artist edition. Oh yeah, so that's what.
Awesome.
All right. Number 10, sir.
Uh, am I at number 10? Oh, okay. Now it's a little sad story. Okay.
That was a sad story.
Uh-oh. Oh, nice.
Yeah, I collected these. These weren't X-Men at the time when I was collecting. weren't very popular at the time when I was collecting. Uh, but I loved it. I love the the artwork in there is just amazing. And I had like a 100, 101, and so on.
Well, and just great stories then too.
I don't know if you guys know what that 101 is. The one that Phoenix Rising, the first appearance of Phoenix.
Mhm.
Is now I cannot even afford that book. But I lost that book.
Oh,
The what happened was I had a I had about 300 from my 300 comic books from my childhood that I carry from house to house to mom says, where how come what are you doing with the comic books? it's it's my childhood, I'm taking it with me.
right.
And then my wife will say the same thing, it's my childhood, I'm taking it with me, so I carry all those books. And when the first X-Men movie came out and they're talking about you know and one of my favorite story was when Phoenix was so are they going to make that movie? And I pulled that comic book out, and I so I expected that comic book to go up in price when the first X-Men movie came out. I pulled the comic book out and I looked at the price. I think it was like about at the time was worth about $25 when the X-Men movie came out.
Right.
And I said, oh, hey. I mean, I've been carrying that for about 30, 40 years. I'm like, eh. So I left it on my study, and it never went back into my box. The comic book.
Oh no.
So that's one of my grails. It's gonna be one of my grails. That's 101. I don't care what grade it is gonna be. I need to get that book back. So,
Right, yeah, just to have it in the PC, huh?
yeah.
Now, who's your favorite X-Men character?
My favorite, to me,
Cyclops?
Cyclops is the Captain America of the X-Men.
I'm a fan of Cyclops too, and everybody hates him.
Yeah, I know. And when the what's his
Especially
name,
this lady
Wolverine came
right here.
along and making move on the Jean Grey, I was like, no man, no, don't do that. I was so upset that Wolverine was a favorite over Cyclops and made Cyclops whiny little, you know.
Right.
Yeah, he was my favorite character because he was Captain America of the X-Men. But
See, and Gore likes Scott too. There we go.
Mm.
I don't know, Scott was always I always saw him as the confident leader of the X-Men, you know?
that's what I thought too. So that's what I thought too. So, I mean, yeah.
Nice. So now we're at number 11 with a personal story attached.
Okay, like every one of these have a story, but I told you my success, right? I told you my successful story. Well, now the one that I guess I have to tell you my failure, but here, okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
this is a
Whitman.
Whitman copy. When I became a huge fan of Star Wars,
Hmm.
and I had a 1, 2, 3 of this, right? And not this one, the original, the first print,
Hmm.
right? And this guy keep on, hey, come on, man, just he brought this book. He goes, this is a unique. It's have a very low print count. This is better than yours. I said, I'm not trading you. If it's better than mine, why don't you keep it? I'm not trading. And he just keep on coming, and he just say, what if I include this along with this, I say, and I'm going, see, when at the time when I'm like,
Right.
my oldest comic book was like 25 cents, right?
Hmm.
When I saw that 12 cents, I'm going, what? I could own a comic book from 12, back in whatnot, I mean, he goes, what? Because so I'm going, no, I want to keep my stuff. He goes, what if I include this
Wow.
along with that? And I say, I mean, he keep on begging, and I say, okay, okay. So I traded that for that. Ever since that, I've been missing my Star Wars #1.
I
Yeah, but
think that was a pretty good trade, though.
well, it really depends. I mean, the first shocker, there's obviously the book that holds, from a value standpoint, is the one that has the value of those three
I
books.
think is this about the third appearance of Hunter?
Yeah, but it's not
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
while it's a
This
sub
is the first
100 and
Shaco appearance.
desirable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the Craven book, it's if it's in mid grade condition,
They're not mid-grade.
it's a $50 book, but the first Shocker book's a couple $100, which is puts it on par, depending upon if the condition versus the condition of the Star Wars book. It could be pretty much a fair. It could have ended up being a fair deal.
Yeah. Well, I'll go ahead and
But only because you kept holding out. If you'd taken him up on his first couple things, he was trying to take advantage of you.
I know. You should have held out a little longer and got a couple
I'll
more.
go ahead and got me this last year. So
Oh, okay,
There you
nice. So you got it back.
yeah, I got it back.
You got to put
Yeah.
yourself a 10 on that one.
No, I'm not gonna put 10 on that. I'm not gonna. I don't think I could have kept it this nice anyways. I think it's about 6, but I don't think I would have kept it that nice.
Right. Hey,
So
none of
that's
us
my
knew about grading back then, We were just
Huh?
collecting to read.
Yeah, but I was actually, I was expecting to. I was thinking, hey, this Star Wars movies, Logan's Run movie, this gonna go up in value someday. I don't know how much it was gonna go up, but
Eh,
I thought it was gonna go up in value, but I didn't know how to take care of it.
Right.
that Whitman reprint's perfect for getting signatures on it.
Oh, it is.
So yeah, well,
Not
I
your
don't feel too
original,
bad about it now.
the Whitman reprint. Yeah.
But I've been feeling bad about it for a long, long time though, because I've been missing this. I missed this, the original print.
But now you have the
Yeah.
original.
Now I got the original print, so I'm okay. I'm happy.
Right. There you go.
Okay.
We got K-pop saying my Star Wars books are straight up beaters, and I adore them. And Rob should do a review on one of Naaman's homemade slabs. Right. The little superpower team up. All right. So, what is your spec pick, Naaman?
Okay. That's my spec pick. How long ago since you asked me to do this 1011? So I had the one book in mind, right?
Right.
And so my spec pick, this is going to be two feature story, okay? My spec pick was going to be something very odd, unexpected. My spec book is going to be Warlord books.
Nice.
First appearance of Warlord books. Right?
Okay, I'm ready. Let me buckle in here. I'm ready for this. I want to hear this spec.
I don't. Right. Warlord's a great book. I don't think we'll ever see him.
Well, the reason I say I was going to spec this one,
Bin.
the reason I say I was going to spec this one, because remember you guys watch Aquaman?
Do I have to admit to seeing it? Wait.
Yeah. Well, in Aquaman, they went to Middle Earth,
Right.
and they show dinosaurs and all that stuff. And so I was saying, hey, that's a Middle Earth of Warlord books. So that I love this Warlord series. Has a sword and sorcery, science fiction, and guns and violence and intrigue. I mean, it just has everything. I thought,
Right.
and
First
the idea
Arak,
of
first Aryan.
having the whole, another place to venture, right, just under our nose, is what I liked about this particular series. But when they fire Henry Cavill and we're gonna do it with all these DC movies, well, that sort of ruined my sliver of a spec book theory.
Right.
So
Hey,
I
you
was
never
gonna say,
know.
one of these days somebody's gonna make a movie on these, okay? One of these days somebody's gonna make a movie.
Well, just like Roscoe says, now that James Gunn's at the head, you don't know what you'll see because he's not scared to back obscure characters in the DC universe. Whereas the couple guys before him would only go with the Holy Trinity and a couple that were in the Justice League.
Well, I mean, because of Aquaman series, I thought maybe they would have that on the Middle Earth event, and this guy would be in there. But so my spec book is going to be in this one right here.
Ah, Dark
It's
Tower.
really cheap, guys. It's really cheap.
We already
You
had
think they're going to redo it?
No, they're making Amazon TV series. Let me tell you reason why I think this is a good spec book. Stephen King is very popular, not just among comic book community, but
Right.
any given community. So even if a movie fails, just like the Dark Tower movie just flopped, right? Now somebody's taking it and making it an Amazon series. Let's assume that fails. Eventually, somebody's gonna make a story on Dark Tower movies, Stan. I mean, Stephen King is so popular, or there are other fans out there. that will want these movies to happen. So if it flops, they're going to try it again. And proof of that is that this is by the way, Jay Lee illustrated Stephen
Right.
King books. Uh, I got this before the pandemic for like $100. These are omnibus, Dark Tower omnibus, complete collection of those first
Oh,
two.
wow.
Yeah.
Right.
So I got this at $100. Right now it's eBay selling for 250. So it's not just the comic book community that's interested in this. Even any Stephen King fan would be interested in this. So
And I
I
think
thought
it's
that might
better
be,
served as a series.
huh?
I think it's better served as a series because you can. It's hard to compress a story that vast into a 2-hour movie.
Yeah, and just like I said this before in another book. What you people are saying here?
Oh, they're talking about other Stephen King stuff.
Uh, so I think this what they could do is make a TV series, and then at the end they could go to make movies on the, let's say, last book, or last two books, and make a 2 3 movies out of it if they draw the crowd. They
Right.
if those TV series does draw the crowd, then they can make their finale on the last books, because this is a 7 book series, 8 books series. So they added a book. So yeah, so I think because it's not just a comic book, uh, you know, I don't want to open this too much, but
Now, what I'm surprised that we didn't see from you tonight, Naman, are any wedding covers. Because I know you love wedding covers.
I do. I I had to I had to give up a lot of stuff. Jay Lee, I mean these I love his illustration too. So oh, look at that.
Oh, nice.
Anyway,
Hmm.
yeah. So that's my spec book. I mean, don't don't sell don't sell your house over it, but
Don't dump your 401k into buy up every single copy that there is. But
Right?
this is not a financial advice.
Disclaimer right here. K-Dog's calling you a hopeless romantic. Comic Journey collects divorce covers.
Yeah, maybe I should have had one of the waiting covers ready, but
There we go. And very affordable spec from Norn Rad.
yeah, it's
Did
these are really affordable. You could buy it pretty cheap. I mean,
well, the nice thing is if you're in for a couple bucks and
Jerry?
it does nothing, yeah.
yeah,
You still got to read.
yeah, and it's a great way to collect stuff. So
Although right now Naman's driving up the price right now by talking about you're all going to go look for it. He's going to go put his entire stock inventory on eBay for $10 a pop, and he's going to cash out.
pump and dump, pump and dump.
No, that was fun though because we got to see a different side of what you collect, right? Not because I know you love the Superman. I know you love Legion of Superheroes is big for you.
Yeah.
And Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen. I know you're big into that, and the wedding covers as well. But so it was nice to see a little bit of the darker side of Naman in some of the books tonight. And you could just blame Roger for drawing the darker side out. We'll let Roger take the blame for that.
Yeah, and I even made. I mean, I don't have a slab book, so I try to make my own slabs to present it to you guys because I knew Roger was going to be here.
Roger doesn't like slabs of any kind, so.
Rob. I'm sorry, Rob. I'm preparing this for Rob.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah.
Thank
It's
you.
putting it in a slab like this. It's easier for me to handle too. So that it doesn't. You know, so
So
especially
Nami, would you call Roger a dirty influencer?
Roger is he's a horrible influence.
Uh, oh, we love Roger. We're just picking on him. He is the best kind of people. All right, so we're gonna go around the horn here, see what everybody's got coming up. Rob, we'll start with you, sir. What's coming up with you, buddy?
Saturday we have. Let's see, oh, I guess before Saturday I got Thursday. There'll be something that I'm opening. I don't even know what it is, but there's an opening on Thursday. But Saturday for the kicking off the new year, only slabs. I mean, if you were going to have a guest on only slabs and it was the beginning of the year, you're going to kick it off, right? I mean, who are you going to have? Man Cave.
I was gonna
Man
say,
Cave's
man, yeah,
Man,
you're gonna have
Man
Doc
Cave's
on.
going to come up. Yeah. Well, we had somebody else scheduled, but he couldn't show up. Man Cave's bailing us out, and it all makes sense anyways to kick off the year with Man Cave. So he'll be back on. So you guys will make sure you turn out for that.
Nice.
Then the other thing, if I could mention, Sunday, January 8th on my channel at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll have Tony from EGS Comics will be on. We'll be sitting down to interview him live. Opportunity for all the guests to ask questions in the live stream of Tony that we'll address throughout the interview. So
Awesome. And coming up for me this Thursday on In the Hot Seat with the usual suspects, we have Scott Vaughn back on the channel from last week. So we're going to sit down with Scott Thursday, learn a little bit more about him. That'll be fun. And then the week after, we have Nick from Comic Culture. So he'll be on Tuesday on the 1011, and then he'll be on Thursday for In the Hot Seat. So it'll be Nick the Comic Culture week. And Nami, what's coming up for you, sir?
Well, I don't have any specific detail schedule yet. I'm still catching up with a lot of things happening in my life, but I'm trying to bring back my Meet the Collector, Meet the Artist uh, thing going on again. It's really hard to schedule everybody in and try to schedule our schedules between me and Otaku, and so trying to get that back. Um, I, I want to have this thing called Old Farts Talk between Roger and maybe
I say you
sleepy
should
reader.
start a new series called Things Roger Made Me Buy.
Maybe that's well. If he buys me stuff, he has to come on my channel and talk about the comic books that he make me buy. So we'll talk about things. I'm gonna focus mostly on seven. Actually, it's pretty specific. 74 to 79. Those years. I want to
Nice.
limit it to that era. Uh, uh,
Great era.
yeah, I was tempted to bring in Red Sonja books I got and the Spider Woman books I got, but I should have. But,
What?
but
Oh, don't you diss them. You might not make it back to this channel.
well, I'll bring those next time.
So there you go.
So,
Oh, you pulled yourself out of the hot water there, now.
but anyways, that and what else? Already told you about my high goals on trying to bring Kim Sano, that kind of artist to our channel. So wish me luck, guys. This is a really tough thing for me to try. So wish me luck on that. I mean,
Oh, well, good luck.
yeah, because yeah, I have to go talk to him, send them a letter in Korean letter, and maybe try to get interpreter. I know he speaks English, but still, you might
Right.
have to offer him that. And
I bet he'll come on. Why not? People love to talk about what they do.
yeah, I mean, and I was encouraged because he talked to a small YouTuber in Korea, like just like guy who's even smaller than me. And so I say, you know what? Maybe he'll talk to, people from America, comic book community, this comic book community we got here. So yeah, that's the plan. and and then invade comic journeys, Insomniac whenever I can if we have a person out there.
Right. All right. Excellent. All right. So, guys, I want to thank Rob for co-hosting. Thank you again, sir. I want to thank Naman for being our guest. Thank you so much, Naman. Had a great time. I want to thank the audience in the live chat, who we had a great live chat working tonight. A lot of great people. Good turnout for the show. I want to thank everybody. And if you're watching this on the rewind, don't forget that both of these fine gentlemen have links in the description below. Go sub them up. Make sure you check out their content and hit that like button for them and the notification bell. And until next time, guys, keep it casual.
Happy New Year.